Hello students, hope you all are doing good. As we have started our first chapter of economics, in the previous class we have completed the introduction part and the definitions. Do you remember? Yes, we have seen Smith's wealth definition representing the classical era and Marshall's welfare definition representing the neoclassical era, Robbins' scarcity definition representing the new age, and Samuelson's growth definition representing the modern age. So these are the things that we have seen in the previous class. Today let's continue learning from your book page number 5. Page number 5. Scope of economics. All of you take your economics book. The scope of economics. Let's read out. The scope of the subject of economics refers to on the subject matter of economics. So the scope of the subject economics is also refers to subject matters of economics. We'll see in the next topic. It throws light on whether it is an art or a science, and if science, whether it is a positive science or a normative science. So in this topic we are going to see whether the economics is an art or a science, and if it is a science, whether it is positive science or normative science. Let's see in detail. In the same page, the topic economics, its subject matter. Okay, so what are the subjects that we have in the economics? Let's see. First is in the picture wants. These are the 5 things we'll discuss all about the economics. Okay, so wants means விருப்பங்கள். Want is something that we desire, a human being desire. It is a need. Okay, மனிதனுக்கு இருக்கிற தேவைகள். Next is efforts. Efforts means முயற்சிகள், avoiding any unnecessary movements. Okay, next production is it is an art of creating an output of a goods. உற்பத்தி எல்லா பொருளையும் ஒரு ரா மெட்டீரியல் வந்து ஒரு ஃபினிஷ்டு குட்ஸாக கொண்டு வரக்கூடிய ப்ராசஸ் தான் ப்ரொடக்ஷன். ஆஃப்டர் ப்ரொடக்ஷன் it goes to distribution and exchange. So distribution means the after the production, the total outputs, it just or outputs wealth or income or service or salary, anything, okay, which distributed among the individuals. After the production, the product should be distributed. After that, consumption. So what is meant by consumption? In Tamil we will say nugarvu. That means use of goods and services, using that products, producing it according to the people wants. We take efforts and we produce a product and we must distribute it. After distribution, we will consume the people will consume the products. That means they use the products. After that, again there will be a wants and efforts production. The circle is still continues. These are the subjects in the economics. Let's read out. Economics focuses on the behavior and interactions among economic agents, individuals and groups belonging to an economic system. So actually economics, it focuses on the behavior and interaction. Okay, as we have seen that wants, efforts, production. So in between the behavior and the interaction among these economic agents, individuals and groups belonging to an economic system. It deals with the activities such as the consumption and production of goods and services and the distribution of income among the factors of production. So Actually, this economics is deal with the activities of consumption and production of goods and services and the distribution of income among these factors of production. The activities of the rational human beings in the ordinary business of life under the existing social, legal, and institutional arrangement are included in the science of economics. And then the abnormal persons or the socially unacceptable and unethical activities are excluded. So here when we take on economics as a science, so it just explains the human beings in ordinary business of life. That means uh, the economics, the subject which is basically money oriented. Okay, and காசை வச்சு என்னெல்லாம் activities நடக்குதோ that all comes under economics, especially the abnormal person and socially unacceptable unethical activities which is not included in this economic subject. Next, economics studies the way in which people use the available resources to satisfy their multiplicity of wants. So, economics is basically a study of the available resource. என்னெல்லாம் செல்வங்கள் என்னெல்லாம் அவைலபிளாக இருக்குதோ அதை வச்சு இந்த உலக மக்களுக்கு தேவைகள் அதிகம், அந்த தேவைகளை எப்படி பூர்த்தி செய்வது என்பதை பற்றி படிப்பதுதான் பொருளாதாரம். Scarcity is a problem indicating the gap between what people want and what they are able to get. This scarcity can be eliminated either by limiting the human wants or by increasing the supply of the goods that satisfy. Next, page 6, human wants. The method of getting more is resorted to rather than the method of wanting less. Okay, so as we have seen, the scarcity is a problem. It is a social problem. பற்றாக்குறை என்பது ஒரு சமூக problem. Okay, so அது வந்து எப்படின்னா it indicates the gap between what people want and what they are able to get. Okay, மக்களுடைய தேவைகள் ஒரு 100% வைங்க, பட் நம்மக்கிட்ட இருக்கிற அந்த பொருட்கள் வந்து 50%. ஸோ தட் இஸ் கால்ட் ஸ்கார்சிட்டி. மக்களுடைய தேவைகளை பூர்த்தி செய்ய முடியாத ஒரு நிலைமை. And for example, now we can say the vaccination, right? So now COVID vaccination, people are in need of that vaccination. அந்த தடுப்பூசிக்கு மக்கள் வந்து அவைலபிளா இருக்காங்க, but the amount of vaccination is very less, the production is very less now. So that is called the scarcity of vaccination பற்றாக்குறை. So this scarcity can be eliminated either by limiting the human wants. So இந்த scarcity, இந்த பற்றாக்குறையை எப்படி நிவர்த்தி செய்யலாம்னா, மக்கள் வந்து அவங்க தேவைப்படுவது, அந்த தேவையை வந்து மக்கள் குறைத்துக்கணும், அவங்க விருப்பப்படுகிற அந்த அளவை குறைத்துக்கணும், அல்லது அந்த குட்ஸை வந்து இன்க்ரீஸ் பண்ணணும். சப்ளை ஆஃப் குட்ஸ் மஸ்ட் பி இன்க்ரீஸ்ட். ஓகே, மக்கள் வந்து அவங்க விருப்பப்படுற அந்த அளவை குறைக்கணும், இல்லாட்ட மக்களுடைய தேவை குறைக்கப்படணும், அல்லது அந்த பொருளோட உற்பத்தியை வந்து அதிகரிக்கணும். ஸோ சம் ஆஃப் த economist people, well-known people, they have suggested that instead of getting more is resorted to rather than method of wanting less. So மக்களுடைய அந்த தேவையை குறைப்பதை விட அந்த உற்பத்தியை வந்து அதிகரிக்கணும். The supply must be increased. And then next point, economics is concerned with the activities of human being only. Human beings are related to one another and the actions of one member affect those of the other members in the society. Hence economics is called a human science or social science. Okay, economics is called human science or social science because human activities are related to one another. மனிதர்கள் வந்து ஒருவருக்கொருவர் தொடர்புடையவர்கள். ஸோ if one person is affected with something, there will be a change around him. இப்போ ஒரு இன்ஸ்டிடியூட்ல ஒரு ஆள் வந்து வேலை செய்யறாரு, அவருக்கு ஏதாவது ஒரு பாதிப்பு வந்துச்சுன்னா கண்டிப்பா அதனுடைய பாதிப்பு அவர் வேலை செய்யற இடத்துலயும் இருக்கும். ஸோ they are interrelated. Human beings are interrelated to one another. If something happened to that person, surely there will be something affected around him. Okay, அவன் வேலை செய்யற இடமா இருக்கட்டும், எங்கேயாவது ஒரு affected நடக்கும். So that is called, we call economics as human science or social science, because economics is concerned with the activities of human being only. Next, the activities of rational or normal human beings are subject matter of economics. All human activities related to wealth constitute the subject matter of economics. Thus, human activities not related to wealth are not treated in economics, that is non-economic activities. For example, playing cricket for pleasure, mother's child care. So as we have said, all economics is concerned with activities of human being only, and it includes all the human activities. Okay, all the human, we should understand all the human activities which related to wealth. Okay, செல்வம், பணம் என்ற ஒன்றை குறித்து என்னெல்லாம் human activities நடக்குதோ அது எல்லாமே subject matter of economics. Okay, but we must understood the non-economic activities, that means the human activities which is not related to wealth. For example, playing cricket for pleasure. Okay, சும்மா தெருவில் போய் நம்ம கிரிக்கெட் விளையாடுறது ஒரு எக்கனாமிக், அது ஒரு ஹியூமன் ஆக்டிவிட்டி, பட் இட் இஸ் நாட் அன் எக்கனாமிக் ஆக்டிவிட்டிஸ். And also mother's child care, it is also an activity which is happening inside our house. It is not an economic activities. So economic activity na adula வந்து wealth, காசுன்ற ஒரு விஷயம் வந்து இன்க்ளூட் ஆயிருக்கணும். Next, it is customary to clarify whether economics is an art or a science, and if it is a science, to observe its specific future. So now we are going to clarify economics is an art or a science. Same page. Next topic, economics is an art and a science. First we will see economics as an art. Economics, பொருளாதாரம் என்பது ஒரு கலையா அல்லது அறிவியலா, and the conclusion is அது ஒரு கலையும் ஒரு அறிவியலும் சேர்ந்த ஒரு பாடம் தான் economics. Art is the partial application of knowledge for achieving particular goals. Economics provides guidance to the solution to all the economic problems. A.C. Pugh and Alfred Marshall and other regards economics as an art. So art means using knowledge for a particular thing. Okay, so application, partial application of knowledge for achieving particular goals. நம்முடைய knowledge யூஸ் பண்ணி ஒரு particular goal அடைவது தான் arts. Okay, and this economics provides guidance to all the solution to all the economic problem. So எல்லா economic problemத்துக்கும் நம்முடைய குறிப்பிட்ட அறிவை யூஸ் பண்ணி அதோட தீர்வை காண்பது வந்து economics, and economics is an art. A.C. Pugh and Alfred Marshall, these economists, they has regarded economics as an art. Next topic, economics as a science. Science is a systematic study of knowledge. All its relevant facts are collected, classified and analyzed with its scale of measurement. So what is meant by science? It is a systematic study of knowledge, and it is relevant facts are collected, classified, analyzed with its scale of measurement. So science inradhu ஒரு systematic way of study. There will be certain procedure, இது மாதிரி தான் இருக்கணும், அந்த மாதிரி நிறைய வரைமுறைகள் வந்து இதற்கு வைத்திருப்பாங்க. Using these facts, correlationship between cause and effect, scientific laws derived or tested through experiments and future prediction are made. So எல்லா scientific lawவும் they gone through many test. Okay, நிறைய டெஸ்ட் வச்சு நிறைய முறை எக்ஸ்பெரிமெண்ட் பண்ணி தான் அதுக்கு ஒரு சொல்யூஷன் கண்டுபிடிச்சிருப்பாங்க. and future prediction are made. So same as the economists also, they have tested so many experiments and they have given a solid definition. These laws are universally applicable and accepted. Economists like Robbins, underline Jordan and Robertson argue that economics is a science like physics, chemistry, etc. So A.C. Pigou and Alfred Marshall, they said economic as an art and they supported economics as an art. But here the economists like Robbins, Jordan and Robertson argue that economics is a science like physics and chemistry. Since it has several similar characteristics, economics examines the relationship between the cause and the effects of the problem. Hence, it is rightly considered as both an art and a science. In fact, art and science are complementary to each other. So, always art and science it goes through. In science, we will learn what the facts are, and in the arts we will apply it. Okay, that is the difference. And actually science gives us principle of any discipline, and however art turns all these principles into reality. Science வந்து இது ஃபேக்ட்ஸ், இது இப்படி இருக்கும், இப்படி இருந்தா இப்படி இருக்கும் அப்படின்ற ஒரு ஃபேக்ட்ஸை கொடுத்துருக்கிறது, அப்படி ஒரு பிரின்சிபிள் கொடுத்துருக்கிறது. ஆனால் ஆர்ட்ஸ்ன்றது அந்த எல்லா பிரின்சிபிள்ஸையும் நம்மளுடைய ரியல் லைஃப்ல அப்ளை பண்றது. So this economics goes with these two. So economics combines both arts and science. Do you understand? So let's move on to next topic. In the same page, economics, positive science and normative science. As we have said, economics as an science. If it is science, economics has positive science and normative science. Let's see what is positive science. Deals with what it is, means it analyzes a problem on the basis of facts and examines its causes. For example, the time of the price increase, its causes are analyzed. Okay, so positive science, it is deals with the questions like how and why. Okay, if there is a problem, it analyzes the problem on the basics of facts and it examines the causes. And for example, the time of the price increases, its causes are analyzed. So if there is something happen, it should be analyzed. In the picture you can see positive is, was, will be. It concerned with the question is, was, will be. If the price of the petrol rises, people will buy less. Okay, it is a problem of the price of the petrol rises, and basis on the facts they examine the causes. Okay, so people will buy less and can be proved because it has analysis, so it can be proved. Connects cause and effect, descriptive based on facts, tells you what objective is. Okay, so it gives interesting description. That means it describes in an interesting way and tell what the aim is. And then normative, it concerned with the word ought to, should. Okay, so it is a statement which claims about how it should happen or ought to designed. And price should go up to reduced petrol consumption, cannot be proved, makes recommendation not based on facts, tells you should be or have been, prescriptive, subjective. Next, on the other hand, normative science responds to a question like what ought to be. Here the conclusions and the result are not based on facts but on the different consideration belonging to social, cultural, political, religious realms. They are basically subjective in nature. Okay, so this normative economics is based on the value and the judgments. It is not based on the facts but different consideration. Okay, it will also consider before giving a statement. It considers social, cultural and political, religious. Okay, and they basically subjective in nature. That means existing in mind, belonging to the subjective nature. Next, page number 7. In short, positive science is concerned with the how and why, and normative science with what ought to be. That means the positive science வந்து ஏன் எப்படி அப்படின்ற அந்த கொஸ்டினை முக்கியப்படுத்தி இருக்கும். In the same way, normative science means எதுவாக இருக்க வேண்டும், அது எப்படி எதுவாக இருக்க வேண்டும் அப்படின்றத குறித்திருக்கும். The distinction between two can be explained. An increase in the rate of interest under positive science would be looked into as why and how can it be reduced, whereas under normative science it would be seen as whether it is good or bad. So here they have explained a good explanation for, given a good example for positive science and normative science. Let's see. An increase in the rate of interest. So what is mean by rate of interest? If there is a demand for money, the rate of interest will be increase. Okay, so நிறைய பண தேவை இருந்துச்சுன்னா அந்த பணத்தோட வட்டி வந்து ரொம்ப அதிகமா இருக்கும். So under this positive science வந்து எப்படி அதை அப்ரோச் பண்ணும்னா அந்த ப்ராப்ளத்தை எப்படி why and how it be reduced, அதை எப்படி வந்து அந்த rate of interest வந்து ஏன் அதிகரிச்சு அதை எப்படி குறைக்கலாம், how can be it reduced. Whereas under normative case, normative science, it explains whether it is good or bad. Okay, this interest rate of interest whether it is good or bad. Next, 3 statements about each type of given below. So positive economics. An increase in money supply implies a price rise in an economy. So in the positive economics positive economics பார்த்தோம்னா an increase in money supply. So அதிகமா பண அழிப்பு, மக்கள் கிட்ட நம்ம அதிக பணத்தை கொடுத்தோம்னா அந்த எல்லா பொருட்களோட விலையும் அதிகரிக்கும். Next, as the irrigation facilities and application of chemical fertilizers expand, the production of food grains increases. Okay, so irrigation facilities, if we supply of water to the land or the crops, or the application of chemical fertilizers, ரசாயன உரம், அப்புறம் அந்த சப்ளை ஆஃப் வாட்டர், இதெல்லாம் வந்து அந்த கிராப்ஸுக்கு நம்ம அதிகமாக கொடுத்தோம்னா the growth will be increased. That means the production of food grains வந்து increase ஆகும். Next, an increase in the birth rate and a decrease in death rate reflect the rate of growth of population. So the growth of population, மக்கள் தொகை அந்த அதிகரிப்புல birth rate should be increased. birth rate வந்து அதிகமா இருந்து அதே சமயம் இறப்பு விகிதம் வந்து குறைவா இருந்துச்சுன்னா அது வந்து ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்கா அந்த growth of population, the rate of growth of populationல அது வந்து impact ஆகும். And next, in normative economics, what are the things it discussed? Inflation is better than deflation. So inflation means general rise of price. Okay, விலை ஏற்றம், விலைவாசி ஏற்றம் is better than deflation. That means reduction in general levels of prices in the economy. So விலை ஏற்றம் is better, ஒரு increased, ஒரு நிலையான விதத்துல அந்த விலையேற்றம் என்பது ஓகே. அதே சமயம் விலை வந்து ரொம்ப குறைஞ்சிட்டுனா மக்கள் வந்து தங்ககிட்ட இருக்கிற எல்லா காசையும் வீணா செலவழிச்சிருவாங்க. ஸோ it comes under normative economics. And more production of luxury goods is not good for a less developed countries. So as we have seen, this normative goods sees whether it is good or bad. ஸோ இப்போ ஒரு பாப்புலேஷன் இன்க்ரீஸ் ஆகிற ரேட்டு அது ஏன் எப்படி இதனால அப்படின்னு சொல்றது வந்து பாசிட்டிவ். அதே சமயம் அது நல்லதா கெட்டதா அப்படின்னு பார்க்கறது வந்து the normative. So here more production of luxury good is not good for less developed countries. ஒரு less developed countriesல more luxury goods வந்து produce பண்றது வந்து it is not a good economy. Next, inequalities in the distribution of wealth and income should be reduced. ஸோ எல்லாருக்கும் சமமா அந்த பகிர்ந்தளிப்பதில் இருக்கக்கூடிய அந்த ப்ராப்ளம்ஸ் வந்து ரெடியூஸ் பண்ணப்படணும். ஸோ these are the things today we have seen economics as an art and science and the scope of the economics, positive economics, normative economics. Okay, so here we will wind up today. To next class we will see basic concepts in economics. That is a vast topic, so that one we will see tomorrow in the next class. Now let's write the class work. In our book, page number 23, answer the following in 1 or 2 sentences. All the questions we are going to write today. We have not been explained that questions, but we will complete our classwork today. Okay, so take your classwork note. These are all the questions that we are going to write today. Classwork, write today's date. Already we have written question number 1. So continuing, write the second question. Define microeconomics. Microeconomics is a study of the economic actions of individual units, say household, firms or industries. It studies how business firms operate under different market conditions and how the combined action of buyers and sellers determine prices. Microeconomics covers value theory, theory of economic welfare. The explanation we will see in the following classes. First, complete this classwork. Okay, what are goods? The materialistic things and services which satisfy human wants are called goods in economics. So the materialistic things and services which satisfy human wants are called as goods in economics. Let's move on to next one. If you don't get time, just pause the video and write the answers. Okay. Next, distinguish goods from services. The differentiate between goods and services. Goods also called products, commodities, things, etc. Along with goods, services are produced and consumed. Goods as material things, they are tangible, that means we can see. Services are intangible. Goods exist independently of their owner. Services are inseparable from their owners. So write it down, the fourth question. Write neatly, maintain your classwork note neatly. Let's move on to next one. If you have any doubt on the question and answers, you can clarify in your book. Okay. Next one. Name any two types of utility. Time utility, place utility. Time utility, a sick man derives time utility from blood not at the time of its donation but only at the operation time. Place utility, a student derives place utility from a book not at the places of its publication but only at the place of his education, consumption center. The next one, define positive economics. Positive economics deals with what it is. It means it analyzes a problem on the basis of facts and examines its causes. The positive economics that we have seen today, it deals with what it is, its means, and analyzes a problem on the basis of facts and examines its causes. Next question, we'll move on. Give the meaning of the deductive method. So these things also we'll learn in next class. The deductive method is also named as an analytical or abstract method. It consists in deriving conclusions from general truths. It takes a few general principles and applies them to draw conclusions. The classical and neoclassical school of economists, notably Ricardo, J. S. Mill, Malthus Marshall, Pew, applied the deductive method in their economic investigations. So write it down. With this seventh question, we have completed the 2 mark question. Okay, answer the following question in 1 or 2 sentences. Part B we have completed. With the next topic, with the next topic onwards, we'll continue our part C answer and question. Okay, now let's see the home. Study the classworks. Write answers for the following question. Write these two questions in your homework note. Define microeconomics. Distinguish goods from services. Write these two questions in your homework note. First study the classwork, then write it in your homework note. So you have to maintain your classwork as well as your homework neatly. You have to complete all your homeworks and classwork on the day itself. Okay, so that's all for today. We'll wind up here, and the remaining part of our lesson will be continued in the next video. Okay, thank you students, take care.